Hello, welcome. I'm Helen, Authentic Discovery, and this is my Speak Your Truth conversation with the lovely Caitlyn. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all of those things that you're supposed to do down there. That would be wonderful. And I'm going to ask Caitlyn to introduce herself. Hello. Thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yes, my name is Caitlyn, and I am, well, how we know each other is through the all1union collective. And I am part of this collective of people who meet once a month, every month, at 1 p.m. to be in unity together, whether it's meditation or it's simply just in stillness, or it's in prayer or mantra or dance, whatever. But yeah, we meet together every month, and I'm one of the people that, helps make it happen.
Okay, can you tell me what inspired the All One Union? What was the inspiration behind it,
Sure.
and how you got?
So, and how I got involved, yeah. So there's a wonderful man named Loic, and he received this inspiration in a dream, and had many other messages about how this collective was to happen. And basically he was kind of the midwife, like the inspiration was in the ether, it came through him. And as he started to give his energy to it, more and more people banded together. And so now there's between hundreds and thousands of people, hundreds and thousands, meeting together to meditate together on the first of every month. And my personal connection with it is I met Loic, he's a friend of mine, and when he shared this with me, it had been very alive for me, because I'd started to, in my own personal journey, started to understand that so much of our challenges, personal and collectively, come from our perception that we are separate, and that parts of ourselves are separate and need to be compartmentalized and put away. And so, when I started to understand that really there is one consciousness, like there is one tree with many leaves, and one leaf can look at another leaf and think that it's completely different, but actually we've got the same source. So the more that I understood this, and I really saw that, like, really everything from our like political challenges, financial, economic, whatever, at the personal and at the collective, if we can find more unity and actually bring things together, then that's when the magic happens. That's when the healing happens. So in my own personal work, and also I work in spiritual embodied spirituality, where I help people through various embodied means of healing, including not excluding things like sexuality and emotion. And this is a kind of all part of the same thing. So when Loic told me about All One Union, I was just super keen to join my. If I'm one of the drops in the ocean, I'm very happy to bring my drop into this ocean, and support the raising of consciousness.
So that kind of led into the purpose and the goal of All One then is to just bring people together, to bring those drops in the ocean together, to create a better consciousness, not a better consciousness, or more connected a more aware connectedness. Would that be?
Yeah, an awakeness to the truth of that we are from this one source. Mm-hmm. And whatever your belief is, like, it's not really I mean, there's many people with various different beliefs that join together in All One Union, from people with strong religious beliefs to people who are totally not religious, people who are in collectives, others who are just totally like solo spiritual people. And really it's to bring, to awaken ourselves to the unity that we are, rather than perpetuating this idea of separation.
Yeah. When you use the analogy of the drop, it reminded me of something that I actually really a call for raindrops, I call it, because years ago I read something in a newspaper in the UK by it was an article with Bishop Desmond Tutu in relation to apartheid, and someone says, did I make a difference, with the sanctions and the this and that? And his response was, alone you are a raindrop. Yeah, but when raindrops join together, they become a rain shower. Then a rain shower becomes, a storm, and a storm can become a. So as a single, you may not feel that that you're making any difference. And I've often referred to myself as a raindrop. I am a raindrop. It's fine, and I know because I look at the Grand Canyon, and the Grand Canyon was created through raindrops. So raindrops and one can make a real difference. So you were saying that they're from different religions and different different spheres of whether they're individuals or collectives. How, and I suppose what I'm trying to do is make sense of that, as in, because you referred to it as a tree with the branches and the leaves and the source. So all of those leaves, or all, you've got a branch of Islam, a branch of Christianity, a branch of Buddhism, you've got a branch of, and yet they are all. So I really liked that ideology. And if I was an artist, I think there'd be a beautiful picture there, perhaps, of, and I've never seen one, which is interesting, of a tree with its roots coming up with the leaves, with all of those symbols of everybody's ideologies as the leaves. That's just something new that I've just kind of thought would be nice to see, but I'm not an artist. Not in that way anyway. So what it's that the inspiration behind it, you says that he received a message, he was the channel, he was the conduit for this. I'm trying to get to where that may have come from, I suppose, and I'm not sure whether you would be aware. It came in a dream. So it's something about the person who, did you call him Loic?
Loic, yeah.
Loic. I suppose there's a question there about his history and how he works as a person that created this, and how long has All One Union been around? And
so it's funny because I was speaking to Loic yesterday and telling him about this chat that we were going to have, and then I was like, oh, do you want to do it? And then I was like, no, I think you should do it. And then he was like, oh, but I don't really want to be called the founder or anything. Like, that's like, it was really sweet. And his feeling was that it was more like he really was the conduit for this inspiration, and that it's not his thing at all. It's a like that if we're all cells in the organism, then we're all cells in the organism. Like, there's not really a hierarchy. Every cell in the organism is required. Every part of the body is required. Like, if I didn't have my knee, that would be challenging for me. And if I didn't have my throat, that would also be challenging. And so, each part is its essential part in the organism. And for Loic, I mean, I'm not totally. I know some of the story of how he received the inspiration, but I think it's kind of it's not something.
So it's a great connection. Would I be right in thinking from what it's not just the connectedness of humanity, it's a wider connection with everything else as well.
Totally. And it's like, it's not unique to All One Union. Like, there's many people, or many spiritual traditions as well, who talk about the oneness of all, or the sharedness of our source. So it's kind of just like another part of that symphony. Like, there's already a symphony of All One Union, and this is one of the pieces that's kind of drawing people together and bringing energy to it again.
It's not a branch. It's something else. It's part of the trunk rather than the branch.
All one union. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's kind of like it's just a basic truth of the universe that that we, yeah, we share the same source,
And
that
the
we're not
the
different.
meeting, I believe it's the first of every month. I have the
Mm-hmm.
time at 11, but you mentioned 1, so I don't know if I've got it, whether it, because it
It's
depends on
1 p.m. Universal time. 1 p.m. Universal time. So yeah, it could be 11 a.m.
I didn't know what a universal time is. I've never heard.
Same as GMT.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, I thought that was
Yeah.
where I was, but okay. And that, so for me, one of the things that I do is because if I'm meditating, or especially when I'm trying, it's a love. My focus would be love. My focus would be to
Mm-hmm.
raise that energy, raise that vibration. Is it something that's to get that collective, to get that mass of vibration, to elevate? What is the, because there's lots of people that don't meditate, and there's lots of people that don't give a hoot about a lot of things as it happens. But what do you see the aim of the meditation? The aim, I have an idea of what it is, but what's the aim of the global meditation, the global core once a month?
Mm-hmm. So I mean, because there is such a vast variety of people who are joining in, everyone has different ideas about what is that center, what is that trunk. And yeah, for many people it's love. Like, that is the understanding of that. Really, the thing that unites us all is love, and that is the thing that's truly looking out from my eyes. That consciousness is infused with love, actually. And yeah, the intention that we set is to be united for the good of our humanity and our planet together. And so that can mean very, very different things for people in the details, but the base is the same. And you're right, it's like this vibration. If we're in a vibration of focusing, and you know how powerful the mind is, we were talking about this before the
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah.
If we're focusing on what we want rather than what we don't want for our personal world and our collective world, then that together amplify. So, you know, that Bible scripture that where 2 or more are gathered, there I am, says God. So when there's multiple people joining together, we become so much more powerful in terms of the energetic amplification. So yeah, I mean, even just the mind focusing on what we want, and that for the good of our humanity, for our humanity and our planet. And with that comes beautiful vibrations of love, of peace, of wisdom, of
And healing.
trust and healing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So having, like, imagine like this fabric of people who start to activate this vibration of love, peace, wisdom, and then together it's kind of like we're amplifying each other's energy, and then that's a fabric, that's a network that is it's connected with the rest of the world, you know, like consciously or not, whether people are conscious of it or not, we're feeding into the collective energy of the planet. So yeah, it's really exciting to think about that. And I really feel, you know, like, even if no one meditated together at all, even just our personal journey where we are coming into forgiveness, where we are coming into love for ourselves, where we are healing relationships with others, like even that in its own circuitry, its own voltage in my own body, is the drop in the ocean. It is changing. And if I put in that drop into the ocean, I've just changed the ocean.
Yes.
You know, like my drop, then the ocean just changed.
The ocean's
and so even
expansive already. The ocean is expanded by the drop.
yes, totally. And so yeah, so that's just even me and my own personal power. But then when I come together and we amplify and we connect and we start to shift from a me and my own world to us and our world, and yeah, that's the way of the future.
I think when you were speaking, one of the things that came to me was a lot of people, especially in this time, the world is quite uncertain at the moment. There's a lot of uncertainty about it, and for a lot of people, the idea of joining together with every, like becoming a collective, it actually frightens them, because they believe that they can't be who they want to be, that they will lose some sort of sovereignty over their country, themselves, or their country, or how they want to live. And I think that this addresses that fear in terms of that visual of each leaf being, whether you look at the leaf as a country or you look at the leaf as an individual person, because within the leaf there is cells and everything else. That has the opportunity to alleviate that fear and to bring people in from, as it has done, from all walks of life. But it kind of helps them to perhaps to not be fearful of a collective that works for the benefit of humanity, as opposed to the way that we are now with the 1% and the individual leaders of countries.
Yes.
There's sorry, I just had this, it was just that it's quite an anarchistic kind of thing to be doing, to say to people, come together as one, because we have this idea of anarchy as destruction, fire, and war, when in fact
distraction,
it's nothing to do with that. So all one union is sort of a personification of anarchy in motion and in harmony and working effectively for the benefit of all. And that, just so that's where the head went and the mouth followed.
I love that, because it's true. I mean, it is really countercultural in that if we look at like the primary things that our culture cares about, it's competition, it's judgment, it's fear, it's separation.
Yes.
And like we don't really learn much about how to open the heart, how to be in collaboration with people. We're more taught how to be in competition with people. And I really feel like in terms of many of the challenges that we're facing, a lot of it comes from this, like, these people are different to me, I don't need to care about them. Or even my neighbor is different to me, I don't need to care about what's happening at their house, I just need to care about myself.
It's using that a primal thing. I read somewhere once, Jim Core from the band The Cause, he said something that resonated with me, that we have to remember that these systems are working perfectly for those it's designed to work for. It's not the masses. And that this happens regularly now. I just forget what I was about to say.
You were talking about the system, and
there was a reason that I started to say.
That's okay.
I'm actually really enjoying this aspect of my new stage of life. It just disappears into the ether.
So a little surprise.
It's still there. We would. What was that?
So we were talking about the systems, and that it's actually quite countercultural to open into collaboration and unity rather than separation and judgment.
The other thing that I was going to say is that it's working perfectly, but what it does is it taps into a very primal part of us. They access a very primal thing. So from like tribal, but even more back than that. If you sort of go back to like if you go back to cavemen or whatever, that I need to protect mine, and that has been utilized, and we're so not in that place in humanity anymore. There are aspects of it, I would imagine, but it is that use of our deepest fear and need for survival that has been used against us. And as we've grown, and there's no requirement for that anymore, but it still serves a very useful purpose, to divide, to conquer. And whether I had a revelation, I say a revelation, for me it was a revelation, and I think I see that sometimes something, and then another veil is a layer is taken away from it, and you're like, it again, but in a different way. And it was that if I had to sum up this time, I think zeitgeist is the right word for, you know, it would be illusion, and the illusion of democracy, the illusion of division, because it's all just based on illusions. They're not real, and the taking away of our individual sovereignty, that we need to ask somebody else, we need to be governed by somebody else, we need, you know, this externalization that has been created by an illusion of need for somebody to take care of us and to make our decisions. And this recent thing has just shown us how effective the illusion has been, that, you know, you've got to stay in your houses, and that's what people have done. We've all gone, we've stayed in our house. The rights and wrongs of it, you know, but it's been quite a fascinating experiment on controlling a mass of people. And while that has happened, what I have noticed is an emergence of voices, and All One Union would be one of those, of this collective rising of vibration, this collective rising of consciousness, this counterbalance almost to it's almost as if people are like, whoa, hang on, we have to raise our heads above the pulpit now, and in that raising of the vibration, we're raising our own heads above that. And so there is an alternative way, because that's one of the things that I find is the question that I get asked most when I make my comments about current systems and ways and illusions of democracy is, well, what's the alternative? And I don't know the answer to that. And I'm quite happy to say to people, I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that there are people who do. I do know that within this world, we are so awesome. You know, I've mentioned the mind, but humanity is so awesome. There are alternative ways of having everything that we have, but in harmony.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no need for the angst. I'm not saying that we won't ever disagree with people, because I do like a good discussion myself. So, you know, but we don't all have to agree. But this, again, it's that fear-based, well, I can't step outside of it because I don't know what else is going to happen. And people, I've got fired down regularly through my life, that there's something else that has to, you know, it can be better. But I do believe that there are ways, and I think, I'm not sure of even the route to follow, but I think that this is the beginning of it, this emergence of consciousness, of alternative. And it's not that we all agree on the same things, but we all have that root, as much as that root and that source is there, and the source is there, it's also, it's as above as below. Have I witched on and not made much sense there, Caitlyn?
No, I love everything you shared. And I absolutely agree that we don't have to have whole communities of people hungry, and we don't have to have whole communities of people super poor, so that none of their creativity can be activated. We don't have to have a very slim amount of people who have access to the healthcare that they need, and, you know, the food that will actually nourish their body. We don't have to live like that. We're very intelligent creatures, and we can absolutely find new ways of communing together.
A lot of those are already out there too.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like, you know, like there's many communities where people are like trialing and testing how to be in community where people are looked after and not not trampled on, or like the power dynamics are fair and empowering. So I'm really inspired by that. And one of the things that I really that's been a big part of my awareness is that the desire for it to change out there happens, or like the change happens out there when we also start to change within ourselves, like the as above so below, as within so without. So while we don't have the specific, well, we might not have the specific answers of like, oh, our government could run like this and this and this, the more that we start to bring into harmony our own relationship to money, our own relationship to greed, our own relationship to generosity, our own relationship to forgiveness, whatever it is that brings this harmony within, then has the impact on the outside as well. So I feel like because it's true, and we're not supposed to have the answers ourselves. Like me, it's not me that has all the answers. We're supposed to work together. I've got one of the answers, you've got another answer, someone else has got another answer, and then together that's the puzzle. So I feel like, and what we do in the meantime is just like keep doing our work and joining together in consciousness.
As you speak, the simplicity of it is just so evident, and it's all, and then that raises the frustration in me. It is that simple. What is the problem? Isn't it happening? And I kind of I think there's a T-shirt, and you have to excuse the language, and it says I'm all love and light, and a little go fuck yourself. And there is that kind of sway between myself constantly, that it is that simple, and then this frustration and anger is also there, because it's like, well, why isn't it happening? And then I remind myself that, you know, there are other, as much as there is this this beauty of how mankind can live together, there is an element that just does not want that. And that's possibly where some of my frustrations lie, in like, what is it that you want, and why do you want why you know, I mean, I know that hurt people, and so, but then I'm thinking, are all of those powers and people that are trying, that want that division, that want that segregation, that want the war, that want the angst of humanity, are they all hurting that much that they just want to inflict that on others? And it's been for so long. So that's just one of my own questions that I can't answer that, and I struggle to think that everyone that's doing some of this stuff, and I find it difficult to believe that it's unconscious, that they're not conscious of what they're doing. Like that sort of, I find that a struggle. So
I feel like it's a bit of a blend sometimes of the consciousness and unconsciousness. And I feel like the pain comes at every level for people. And I also feel like and that pain drives, like, you know, the desire to be loved. I feel like it really comes down to just the desire. And I'm speaking for myself here. I'm not like speaking as all one union. I'm just one of the cells in the organism. But yeah, like, I really do feel that a lot of what drives this unhealthy behavior is the desire to be loved. And like, even war, you know, like, because I want power. Why do I want power? Because I want people to respect me. How does that make me feel? Loved. You know, like, I feel like this desire to be loved is kind of a core wound, because we've forgotten that we are love, and that love is here, and I can love myself as well. I feel like it's one of the most hilarious and most tragic comedies, that we're all searching for this love, and we never feel satisfied, because the one person who we truly want it from most is ourselves. And then the more that we perpetuate this behavior and we get rewarded from it, from our kind of weird society, then it just keeps going. And I also feel like there are people who are more in service to others, that we make choices to serve others, and of course, you know, support ourselves. And I feel like there's also people who are more interested in serving themselves, and other people can get fucked. So and I feel like this is like sort of an orientation, and not to say that there's like, you know, people who are more in service to themselves are evil and bad or anything like this. I also think we're from the same source, we're from the same tree. But it's just who's in power, who's making the decisions, who's making the policies, and who's how is the fairness and equality here. So yeah, that's my take on stuff.
But even so again, you know, like, I'm there trying to and you've just put it so, again, in a simple way that I can understand, is that they are at some on some level, it is about seeking love. It's about that love, and I can identify with that, I suppose, because it's only recently that I got into loving myself. So that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
which is it's insane that we grow up. I don't know if I'm veering off again. I can meander. We grow up, we're born, and for most of us, we are absolutely idolized when we're babies. The love poured into us is just phenomenal.
Yes.
And then as we grow, for some reason, there's the self. It seems to. We don't seem to be able to. It has to be a conscious thing to love the self, and you have to choose. It's a choice, and it's like, well, why do we not think that why do we not love ourselves inherently, from baby? It's another question that I'm sure the psychologists have answered somewhere along the line. But yeah.
No, well, I mean, like I was chatting with a 9-year-old the other day, and we were asking him, who's your favorite person in the world? And he said, me, I am. And yeah, and it's like, and if you ask most kids who's awesome, they'll say me. Like, I'm amazing. I mean, like speaking about themselves.
Yes.
And it's actually a very normal thing to love yourself. Extremely normal. It is, like, as babies, yes, and then as we're growing up, it's just how we are, and then we get reprogrammed by society, by other people with bad habits, or the different things that we read, the different education that we get, or also some of the wounding from our parents, where they lost the ability, they forgot how to love themselves, and so then that gets trained into us as children. So then we're inheriting this blah blah whatever, but it's okay. It's just a matter of remembering. Like, I was chatting with my partner the other day, and he was saying how all spiritual work and all healing is really not about learning anything new. It's actually just about forgetting all the junk. It's just purifying back to that source.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's possible, and it's not like a perfection thing either, that we need to be perfect. Like, as humans, there's a duality.
I'm imperfect, and I love
exactly.
I love
there's a duality on this planet, of course. It's not like this unity business is not about denying difference and denying that there is like good behavior, and then there's mistakes that we make. Like, there's hot water and there's cold. There is variety, there is difference. But but there's a way of operating through this consciously and healing the clunky, wonky bits to come into more harmony.
As you were talking about the remembering, it related to me to something that you said earlier, and I was thinking it's that Ubuntu, I am as we are, and I think that's another possible apprehension, concern, fear that people hold, because a lot of what we knew we've lost, and it is about reconnecting to what we knew. And people sometimes identify that with, oh, in that case, that means we have to go and live back in caves, and there's that. For some reason, there is that. I suppose it's the duality of it, the either or. I think that people aren't aware that to connect and to remember what we once knew and to be with that doesn't mean that we have to start to go back to living in caves.
Totally, yeah.
And that we can we can live as we live, without and have it in such a way that is fairer and more beautiful than what it is. But
absolutely. And when you were talking as well about sovereignty, and people being like, "You gross collective," I don't know if I want to be part of that. I feel like that can be, like, it's not about denying difference. It's not about saying everyone is the same. It is at like a source level that, like, my heart is the same as your heart, like that is at that level, like we are the same. We have different experiences, different ages, different genders, people of different skin colors, different languages, And this difference is beautiful.
Yes.
Without this difference, it would be like, you know, eating the same meal every day. It's just and this is what
I always equate that to, I love, you know, when you get a bouquet of flowers, and you can get a bouquet with all the same flowers, but when you get a bouquet and it's got lots of different flowers, and it's got leaves, and it's got stalks, and it's got all this in it, it's stunning. And the other thing is, we can look at flowers and people don't go, what are you looking at? But when you do that, when you transfer that to humanity, all of a sudden we just have all of these like boom, 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 boom. You know, it's almost like we're definitely been reprogrammed not to see our beauty, not to see that gloriousness, not to see the part that each person plays in creating that bouquet of wonder and beauty.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. And so, and whatever your particular fragrance is as this flower, like it's necessary, and without it, like the world would be less awesome, you know.
Absolutely.
and whatever that is, and whatever your particular take on something is, or whatever, but it's kind of like the rather than trying to separate all these flowers and have, you know, this one at this corner and this one here and this one's fighting with this one, it's actually bringing harmony together as a bouquet so that it can be this stunning thing, rather than separated and
they're beautiful in their separateness. Everything. I mean, when you see a stand and it's just of lilies and they've arranged them in such a way, it's beautiful. And I think that's the other thing. People think that by, you know, they're taking something, that they're going to lose something. There's some sort of fear of lack in it, rather than I am beautiful, and yet when I'm with someone else, you enhance my beauty, I enhance your beauty. I don't take away from your beauty, I don't diminish you in any way. We actually make each other look better. You know, if we could start to look at each other like that, not even better, but we both bring out the best in each other.
We amplify each other.
We bring out the best in each other, rather than the oh no, I'm not sure, and I don't know whether, and oh no, and all of that sort of stuff. I have what is there any plans for All One Union to expand over the next 3 to 6 months or 12 months, or to host other events, or is there anything coming up in the future?
Just continuing with the monthly meetings. We're always growing, and we're always connecting with other collectives and other people who have audiences as well. So it's really awesome just to see this tide rising with more and more beings bringing their energy to it. At this stage, it's just the monthly meeting, and it's the meditations. I mean, for me, I meditate. Other people do other stuff. But it's kind of beautiful to think about that, like wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it is, whichever country you're in, whatever you're wearing, it doesn't matter. You can just like sit down for that 11 minutes and know that hundreds, thousands of people will be joining with you, and that we're all going to be focusing on the same thing, the good for our humanity and our planet. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. And I love that, especially in quarantine, when, you know, like our travel's limited. Many people haven't been able to meet together in groups, but this is us, you know, uniting, even though we're in our houses.
It's another example of how individuality does not have to be compromised for a collective occurrence to be beautiful and to have a purpose and energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's really not like a as I was saying before, it's not like a belief thing or anything like this. It's really just people who want to do something to collect together, because it can also be a little bit overwhelming to think like, man, the world's a bit messed up. How do we fix this? And this is one way, you know, it's a really simple way. 11 minutes a month. Just bring your heart, bring your attention, bring your intention to this goodness for our humanity and our planet, and that is sowing amazing seeds for our world. So for me, because otherwise it's kind of like, man, do I like petition? Do I write to someone? Like, how do I change the government? And like, this is one way.
Yeah,
it's not the only way, of course there's other action, but yeah, this is a big way, a really big way.
A beautiful way to connect with everyone, and to feel that, and to feel connected, to sit and know right now I am not alone. Wherever I am, right at this moment, I am not alone. I think that's really beautiful. How do people connect with All One Union?
So there's the Instagram, All One Union with the one. There's also the Facebook, same, All One Union, and you can also search All One Union on Google and you'll find our website.
Okay. I will put that information down below.
Awesome.
So I'm going to say thank you. I think we could possibly meander and continue, but I'm going to say thank you. So you just hold on one moment, and thank you so much, though, for joining me and for talking with me. And thank you to everyone for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed our conversation as much as I have. And like I said before, please like, subscribe, and all of that stuff that happens, share, and information on how you can connect with All One Union, it will be down below. And I hope that you will join All One Union in a monthly meditation for the upliftment and connection of the planet, which it is awesome. So I've got a big grin on my face right now. So yeah, please do. So thank you, Caitlyn, and I'll just stop recording.